Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we are currently in a pretty good situation. We've gotten a pretty decent recovery. Unfortunately, we're not fully recovered, but things are definitely looking up. We need to look at Pomerania, Anhalt, and Baden here. Are they automatically expanding their railroads? There are some railroads expanding in Baden. So likely we don't need to do anything there. This revolution is not actually going to happen. They are declining, so that's great. And we're currently running a contested government. Okay. So, hypothetically, at this point, if we were to go, okay, we can't change our voting law. We're looking for things that would improve our legitimacy. This would reduce our current legitimacy, although we may have to reform our government. National supremacy is all we can do there. Freedom of conscience, sure, that's fine. Appointed bureaucrats, okay, sure. Professional army, we could go down to mass conscription. I don't think we need to. I think we're fine. National Guard, we can't do anything at all there. Interventionism, it is what it is. Protectionism, nothing can be done. Proportional taxation, we can't go any further there. We probably don't want to move up at all. Now, we could do colonial exploitation. We don't have any colonies to exploit, but in theory, we could exploit some colonies. What would that end up doing? We don't have unincorporated states. Minus 25% tension decay. Enables the colonial affairs institution. Okay, what is that institution? That's Home Affairs. So that's just an additional institution that we don't have unlocked at all right now. Got it. Okay. So that's a potential possibility. We've got the dedicated police force and public schools. Yep, that seems fine. We're on public health insurance. That seems fine. We're on right of assembly. That seems okay. Regulatory bodies, nothing to be done there. Child labor is allowed. We need all the workers we can get. Women's suffrage, sounds good. We've got our poor laws here. Unfortunately, we can't go any further there. Migration controls, we can't change that either, and slavery is banned. Okay, so there's not a lot that we can work on, realistically. Colonial exploitation is pretty much the only thing. 100% migration attraction in unincorporated states, huh? No one would oppose that. No, the rural folks still would. Let's go ahead and enact colonial exploitation and see what ends up happening. Cool. We do have an election in 59 days, or going for 59 days. So we'll see if we have to reform our government or not. I would like to start working on these lads again. We've been kind of neglecting our diplomacy recently. So let's go ahead and improve relations and bankroll them. Cool. And then there's Bremen, which, if I recall correctly, yeah, they're a protectorate of Scandinavia. Interesting. We can bankroll them as well. We could absolve them of their obligation. They would also be willing to form an alliance with us. I'd really like to go after Scandinavia here. Scandinavia is very weak. I'd really like to go after Scandinavia and take Bremen from them. But there doesn't seem to be a good way to do that. Because Bremen is their protectorate, we cannot diplomatic play on Bremen. And there doesn't appear to be a way to declare on Scandinavia for taking Bremen over. And the same thing with Saxony, to be honest, with regard to Austria. We'd like to do the same thing there. But for the time being, we can start working on our buildings here, specifically bringing up our level of military. Now, one thing we could wait on for that... Oh, hello, Peace Treaty. One thing we could wait on that is getting these technologies completed, right? At least these ones over here. So chemical warfare is currently being innovated, or from technology spread, actually. Mobile armor is being worked on. Stormtroopers is actually not getting any technology spread. So that's noted. Mobile armor will be done in 4 weeks. Okay. So that's looking good. And this revolution is ticking downward. Our election will be done in 30 days, so we'll have to look at our legitimacy at that point. But for the time being, this is looking good. We have lots of expansion going on. We do still have dye and oil, problematic, but glass and tools are expensive. We are working on tooling. I don't know that we're working on any glass right now. We may want to think about doing that. That said, all of these are negative, so I think we'll hold off on that for the moment. We did dip down into a deficit briefly here. Okay. And now we're good. Okay, so mobile armor has been unlocked, and we can grab stormtroopers. This is not being spread at all. So we'll grab that. That's going to take 11 months. That's going to be a while. So we can go into our buildings and start cranking up our military if we wanted to. The question is, do we want to right now? The Conservative Party wins with 86.7% of the vote, and the Free-Minded People's Party with 13.2%. So if we go into here now and look at our government, this is a Conservative Party currently in power with the Evangelicals and the Junkers. So that's fine. Hypothetically, if we were to add the Free-Minded People's Party, I think we would end up losing a lot of legitimacy. And they support an ongoing revolution, so we can't do that anyway. Okay. That's fine. Cool. These guys are projected to join the Free-Minded People's Party. Cool. So apparently we have a bureaucratic shortfall. I'm not sure I agree with that. We also have a free government reform due to our recent election. As long as it's done in 170 days. I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, obviously kicking out the Conservative Party would not be good. I'm interested in seeing if adding the Free-Minded People's Party to the government instead of having them be in the opposition would be useful, but I don't think it would be. So we're probably not going to end up reforming the government, is my guess. But we'll see. Cool. So our GDP is still increasing, broadly. How are we doing on our radicals? It's trending upwards-ish, I think. Yeah, it's trending upwards-ish. We'll see how that ends up going. So hopefully our colonial exploitation will be enacted fairly easily. We'll see. Our population growth is going nicely, though. We're making 1.63% annually, so I like it. I still do wish that this tooltip indicated the number of open jobs. That would be really useful information. Unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, there's not any, like, collated location for that, where that's added together. It'd be really nice to have. We know how much unemployment we have, but how many open jobs do we have? I don't know. We'll see. The ethics of exploitation. Okay, the government's attempt to pass the colonial exploitation law has brought the ethics of colonialism to the forefront of public debate. We have no right to interfere, control, or exploit. They say we bring civilization, we bring misery and oppression. We rig the entire social economic structures of the colonies to serve our selfish needs. So we can either say it's morally correct, or concede some of their points. And it looks like the odds are a bit better to concede. So, sure. And it's now a 0% chance. So, we'll just drop that. Cool. They want cultural exclusion, huh? Plus 5% loyalists and minus 5 radicals from standard of living decreases in accepted cultures. Interesting. Cultures will be accepted based on shares a cultural trait with any primary culture in their country. Fascinating. So we're running a very small deficit right now. Is the reason for that subsidies? Yes, actually. The reason for that is indeed subsidies. And government wages, but that's fine for now. So we're low market access in actually quite a number of locations here. I'm assuming that we have railways queued up. We have insufficient taxation capacity in Silesia. That will also help our bureaucracy situation. So I don't mind that. We'll build a government administration in Silesia. Fantastic. So that's underway. Cool. And our deficit is currently increasing. That is definitely due to our subsidies. We have an engines input goods shortage. Okay. Our motor industries are only producing 1.85K. So the question then becomes, do we need more motor industries, or do we need people to work in our motor industries? And I think it's the latter. So we're just going to look to import engines where we can. 2,000 from the British market. Another 680 from the Belgian, and 671 from the American market. In fact, all of these are productive, except for the Sicilian engines. So we'll just import all of those. Beautiful. That should help alleviate our input goods shortage. Somewhat. Cool. We definitely need employees for our motor industries, or at least in some locations we do. Let's see here. Other locations with a motor industry. Yep, we're only 69% employed here. Honestly, I'm thinking about halting auto expansion because I think we're still expanding faster than our population is growing. I think. That said, our market access is dropping pretty heavily right now. Like, kind of scarily heavily. And I'm just checking in here. We are constructing in most of these locations. Is there already one here? Yes, there is. We're already constructing a railroad expansion in all of these locations. Okay. I don't think that lack of railroad is the problem, though, is my guess. Well, in this situation, it is. Okay, lack of railroad is actually the problem. So we do need to build that, or at least in some locations it is. It may not be the problem quite everywhere, but I think it is. Looking at this, it looks like that is, in fact, the problem. So we're running a pretty big deficit right now, and most of that is our construction, to be honest. Our subsidies are dropping now, but that engine's input goods shortage was a big part of what was causing this. Realistically, I don't actually think that we need these additional railroads, but we can expand it. That's fine. What we need more than anything is workers working on things. We have a lot of open jobs right now. I really wish we knew how many, but it's a lot. It's a whole lot. So, I mean, I would absolutely love to, let's see, in our migration here. No migration controls would be ideal. But what we really need is immigration. That's what we really need here. Okay, so these guys are currently antagonistic to us. That's interesting. Why are they antagonistic to us? They view us as a natural enemy. There's no possible diplomatic play against them. Intriguing. I'm wondering if that's maybe because we're improving relations. Let's test that on Bremen. So we're going to stop bankrolling these guys. And they have a defensive pact with us, actually. So we should resume bankrolling them. We should maybe go to Saxony instead. So there's no possible diplomatic plays. They're a protectorate of Austria, and there's nothing that we can do. Okay, noted. So I'm noting also that our financial situation is improving. Our subsidies have improved a lot since those engine imports came in. So this engine, or this is inactive, so we should definitely cancel that. Cool. Our market access has dramatically improved. And that was even before we finished up the railroads. So yeah, it was the engine's input goods shortage that was causing that, as I thought. Fantastic. Don't really care too much about this diplomatic play in Indonesia. They have a customs union with Colombia. I'd really like to get Bremen away from them. So that would force Scandinavia to become a dominion. I would really, really like to do something about their protectorate. I don't see an option here to do that. Maybe that's something we'd be able to add as a war goal? King Georg von Hohenzollern has decided to use the new and exciting radio technology to connect more directly with the people. It's like he's there in the room with me. It's hard not to be convinced. So we could gain 15% authority or 2 interest group approval with the Junkers, and that's what we'll take. Beautiful. To be honest, we don't need more authority. So that's fine. Cool. Now, I would definitely like to start ramping up our military. So we can go down to mechanized infantry now, actually. That does eat up a lot of oil. So we can go down to mechanized infantry, although we could run, like, squad infantry for our conscripts instead. Something like that. Siege artillery and siege artillery. So obviously, we can see that we're negative right now. Aerial reconnaissance and aerial reconnaissance. And then this, we could only go down to machine gunners. And then field hospitals and field hospitals. So, how much negative is this? About 500k. Good to note. We could run mechanized here as well. But I think that the oil cost is not worth it. So, the question now is, what do we have shortages of? Small arms, artillery, tanks, aeroplanes. That makes a lot of sense. So, let's go ahead and create some industries for that. So, small arms and artillery is, of course, going to be the arms industries. There we go. And we can expand this out to, well, how short are we on those things? Small arms, we're short by about 500. And artillery, we're short by about the same 500. So each one of these produces 50, we'll call it 50 per level. So we need like 10 levels. So in Hesse, we'll take this up to level 10. In Brandenburg to level 20. In Hanover to level 5. And in Württemberg to level 5. And in Schleswig-Holstein to level 5. That should be more than enough on the arms industries. Now, tanks and aeroplanes. 352 and 352. So these only produce aeroplanes. What produces tanks? War machine industries. War machine industries. Do we have to have one built before it populates in here? Maybe. So we're going to in Brandenburg. We know that we need about... We're going to build 10 levels here. There we go. So that'll be fine. Our Bremen obligation is expiring. We also have a shortage of explosives. I'm expecting chemical plants to be able to auto-expand. They're negative right now, so I'm not too concerned about that for the moment. What about ammunition? Are we doing good on ammunition? We should be, because we built a ton of munitions plants in the last war. So that should be absolutely fine. No problem there. We're definitely running a deficit right now. That's to be expected, given our military situation. And I'm completely okay with it for the time being. So our constructions here are going to finish up in the eventual times. The arms industries are quite a long ways away from finishing up. And then there's those war machine industries. I do actually want to prioritize a war machine industry, just the one. So we'll just alt-click that and move that all the way to the top. So that way, we'll get that finished up in 30 weeks. Cool. Now, looking at this, our construction... Okay, stormtroopers have now been unlocked. So we have infiltrators for barracks and conscription centers. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, this is squad infantry here. We're just going to run mechanized. And then infiltrators instead of machine gunners. I'm not sure if that's actually better. Maybe infiltrators for a professional? And then... running machine gunners for our specialists? Or for our conscriptions? Maybe. Or we could just run it the same across the board. Like that. And if that's the case, how many tanks do we end up needing? Still 352. Only from the barracks. The conscription centers aren't currently buying them. So that's noted. We're going to have to expand that if we want to activate our conscripts. Cool. There's a peace treaty here, and we are noting that workers' protections has critical radicalism. So what does this end up doing? Plus 50% minimum wage, and it enables a workplace safety office institution, which we already have. Okay. I'm okay with this. We'll enact it. There's some people who might be upset about that. We'll see. Cool. So our number of radicalism, or our amount of radicalism, rather, is definitely creeping up. There's no doubt about that. The Free-Minded People's Party, we could consider including here. There's no longer a revolution going. So let's see if this will boost us up. I don't expect it to. Yeah, that drops our legitimacy a little bit, but not as much as I would have thought, actually. Fascinating. Not nearly as much as including the industrialists or the rural folk. Okay, cool. So that seems reasonably fine. I would like to get us up to a legitimate government. That would be nice. But unfortunately, that's not currently an option. We do need a new tech here, and chemical warfare is being worked on right now. So let's just grab flamethrowers. That'll be done in 18 months, and chemical warfare in 4 to 6. So that'll be all of our tech done at that point. Beautiful. So those arms industries are going to be finishing up eventually. And our war machine industries will as well. I still don't know how to make tanks. We should find that out. Produced in war machine industries. Okay, so I thought so. So we're just going to have to build one and then add in the ability to create tanks. Cool. So that should be fine. We are running input goods shortages on oil, aeroplanes, tanks. Oil is deeply unsurprising. We can continue to import what oil we can, but oil is tough. Oil's real tough to import. I would love to get additional oil rigs. Unfortunately, we are maxed out. There's nothing more that we can do on that front unless we were to get Bremen involved here. They do have access to oil rigs, or potentially like Netherlands, which we've already tried to get them involved here. They would not currently become our protectorate. All of these guys might be interested in stopping us from taking over the Netherlands. I'm just wondering, how many oil buildings can they have here? None. in that state. In this one, none. 30 in this state, in Friesland. Okay, so I would absolutely love to conquer this state. If these guys were to join, problems could ensue. But our military is a lot better than it has been in the past. Let's let our arms industries finish. And we're going to need potentially some explosives as well. But what I really want is this war machine industry to finish up. That's 10 weeks away. Okay. We do have a lot of turmoil going on. That's just due to our amount of radicals, I think. But workers' protections should be instituted fairly shortly here. And that'll be good. Now, we can see here that our bureaucracy is definitely dropping. There's no doubt about that. We just dipped into negative bureaucracy. So in order to fix that, we're going to build some government administrations. One in Bavaria, for sure. There's apparently not one there at all. And I'm just going to build one government administration in each location that we have. Cool. There we go. So that'll finish up in the eventual times. But I want to get this war machine industry done. That's still 6 weeks away. And rousing speech captivates the public. Cool. Enactment success chance. So that's 74% chance. That looks good. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to really ramp up our military production and maybe think about grabbing Friesland, because we need it. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.